We're going to pause and give our cultural recommendations. So I'm going to start with a piece of music that I think is really one of the most beautiful violin pieces, and that's the Paganini Violin Concerto. Many people who are violinists will tell you it's the the litmus test for are you a real violinist, right? It's the hardest piece of music to play as a violinist. It kind of shows you've reached that pinnacle. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece full of again very technically difficult double harmonics, double stops, and it's really just an exciting piece of music, right? A lot of times, the myth of classical music is it's very boring, it's very, which is not true, but it's just totally dispels that. It's such an intense piece of music. Paganini, Paganini was an Italian violinist and composer, musician and composer, late 18th, born in the late 18th century and died around 1840, I think. And the best recording I've heard, there's two that are really good, but the best is Sarah Chang. Did a recording many years ago when she was very young, and it's just a so beautiful recording of it. I highly recommend that one.
Oh, it is exciting and yeah, absolutely. Classical music is not something boring. It's something it might take a little bit to get adjusted to, but it's certainly something you can get a lot of fruit out of. I'm going to recommend a number of classical pieces. It's all in one, which is Chopin's The Mazurkas. So this is a bunch of piano works. It took up about a third of Chopin's catalog. He died at a very young age, unfortunately. Now, mazurkas is a Polish dance, and it's very interesting. We think of these classical composers as sort of being stuffy people, but oftentimes they were writing dances for just sort of like parlors that people would go into. They were seen almost as how we would view a pop star almost when it comes to some of these people, especially during Chopin's time. This recording of them is my favorite. It's Arthur Rubinstein. He's my favorite pianist. I think he was the greatest pianist of the 20th century, and he recorded a great for RCA, who had some of the most beautiful recordings they recorded back in the 60s, especially. And Chopin is so masterful when it comes to these mazurkas. There was one especially, one of the last pieces of music he wrote was for a magazine called Our Time. It was like a journal. He and Mendelssohn both contributed to saying, well, during their time, what was the most popular music? And Chopin wrote these beautiful mazurkas dances